Hey, what's up you guys, people of the internet, everyone who clicked on this very video. My name is Kaz, and it's been a while. And because it has been a while, I'm gonna start off going back into YouTube, hopefully. A little bit slowly, easily, mellow. I'm gonna talk about some of my favourite books. And I know summer's almost to an end to do a contemporary recommendation. But all summer, I personally have been craving fantasy books mostly. And now I'm kind of like, I'm gonna reread some of my favourite contemporary. So I thought, why not bring you guys along and tell you some of my favourite contemporary books. So this is the nice little rainbow I'm gonna talk about. I think there's 13 books, 12 or 13. So let's get on into it. So the first book I'm gonna talk about is I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. This is one of my favourite books, just as a whole. I started it 4 times before I actually liked it. I think it had to do with my age. 4th time. I fucking loved it, and I've read it 3 times since. This book is about 2 twins, Noah and Jude, and it follows their journey, I guess, over in their different perspectives and different timelines. So Noah's POVs are when they're 13 and they're just beginning to like different things and have falling outs as twins while they were perfectly in sync when they were younger. So he follows that kind of change. And then Jude's POV is when they're 16 and they barely speak anymore and they all have had a big change happening, but we haven't spoken about this change. So around, as the book goes on, you kind of unravel what happened to make that distinct change between Noah's POV and Jude's POV 3 years later. And it's really interesting. It's a coming of age story that's really great, very beautifully written. The words in this is great, I love it. They're both artists, which is something I really like. The next book I'm going to talk about is a little bit different. It's The Foxhole Court by Nora Sakavic. I think I've talked about this before on this channel, but I don't remember, you don't remember, it doesn't matter. This is a trilogy, the All for the Game trilogy, and I love this. This is about sports, angsty protagonist, mob war, some torture. There's a lot of trigger warnings if you want to read this. Look it up if you want to read this, because there is a lot of trigger warnings, but it's a great series. I love the book. I love it a lot. I can't talk today. Third book, One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus, yeah. This is incredible. I read this in a day. And it's very cheesy, but in a good way. Breakfast Club meets murder mystery, and that is what this is. It's great. It's about 5 kids that go to detention one day, and in detention one of them dies. So the 4 remaining people become suspects in who murdered this guy. And they all have a secret that they didn't want to be exposed, which was going to be exposed by the person who died. So they all have things to hide and they don't know who murdered this kid, and read to find out if you want to know. It's a really good book. It's really good. It's a bit cheesy and a little bit predictable, but it's still very fun read. Fourth book I'm going to talk about is Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. This is one of my favourite books. It's my coming out book. I've read this about 5 times, and again the writing is incredible. It's about this guy named Simon who writes emails to his sort of boyfriend Blue on the internet, but they both use pen names, so they don't know who they really are, only that they go to the same school. But the thing is, this other person gets hold of Simon's emails and starts blackmailing him. It is a coming out book, which is usually not the books that I love a lot, but this one does it very well, and it's hilarious and it's so well written. Becky Albertalli is a great writer. Next on the list is When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon? I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. This book is so fun. It's hilarious. It's about 2 teenagers they're Indian teenagers, and their parents arranged a marriage. And this girl, Dimple, she's not up for it. She wants to be a web designer, I think, an app designer, an engineer, I'm not sure, something like that. She wants to do technical stuff and go to university and doesn't want the traditional life her parents have planned out for her. Well, this guy, Rishi, is totally fine following along traditions, and he's kind of cool about this arranged marriage thing. And they meet at app designing contest at a university program, and yeah, shit goes down, and it's really great. I like it. I was kind of iffy about the ending, but it was really fun, and I liked like getting to know a little more about Indian culture and like how they threw that in there, and their take on like traditions, like are they good, are they bad, are they just not for everyone. Like I really liked how they talked about that. Next on my list, I don't know at what number we are, Quiet Kind of Thunder by Sarah Bernard. This book is very shiny and nice, and I like it, and it's really good. I shouldn't say everything's really good, you know, because if it wasn't really good, it wouldn't be on this list. It's about this girl who had selective mutism, and now she just has anxiety disorder, and she doesn't talk in public. And this guy, Riz, I pronounce it Riz, but I think it's pronounced Riz, who is deaf, and they meet each other at school, like their first year of sixth form, and they kind of fall for each other, but they also get through the complications of being deaf or being mute and how their relationship will work. It's just really great, and it's really, like, I've always wanted to learn like ASL or BSL or whatever, but I think I actually might now. Like, I have 2 weeks of summer left. I could like at least start learning BSL, right? But it's really cool. Again, as well, when Diplomat Rishi, it was really cool to learn about like Indian culture, and in this it's really cool to learn about like deaf culture and like problems people get into that you might not always think about. The next book I have to talk about is Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour, and this book, it's my favourite summer read. This is about a girl named Emmy, and she is a set designer for film, and she one day at a house sale from a deceased celebrity finds a letter to be delivered to his daughter. Emmy and her best friend Charlotte go to find the daughter of this deceased celebrity, and they meet up, and they kind of like madness ensues while also making a film, and it's very cute. It's gay, that's good. They make a film, they fall in love, everything's great. It's very cute and cheesy, and also I love the set design aspect of it because I love film and I love set design. The next book is Tiny Pretty Things by Sona Sharaporta and Danielle Clayton. I'm so sorry. This book is the first in the series, I think, or a duology. I've only read this one. I really want to read the sequel. And Tiny Pretty Things is about a New York dance academy for ballet, and it follows a few ballet dancers and teen drama. It's great. I love it. It's awesome. I want to reread it and then read the sequel, because it's been a while since I've read this one. But I love it, because like this dance role is something I'd never really thought about that much and never really seen into. And of course this is pretty dramatic, but like it's cool. It gives me kind of Fame vibes. I love it, and also look at that cover. Is that not gorgeous? The next book is We All Looked Up by Tommy Wallach. And I know I've talked about this before. I've talked about this in my favourite books video, because this is my favourite book, probably. Like, it's very difficult to choose a favourite book, but if someone asks me what's your favourite book, generally I go with this one. Full as 14s, and in the prospect of the world is going to end. There's a comet flying towards Earth, and we don't know if it's going to hit Earth or miss until the day it might hit. So it kind of follows like society's response to maybe the world is gonna end, and it follows these 13s and how they, from like different places, well, they're from the same place, but like very different teenagers who like over those 2 months tried to deal with that, and it's really great. I've said that so often, but like this is one of my favourite books, and you should totally check it out if you want, if that sounds like something cool that you like. The next book is Never Always Sometimes by Adele Said. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. This book is about two people, Dave and Julia, and they've always been kind of on their own in high school, and they've been cool with that. They've had a very tight friendship, they've been best friends, doing their own thing, and that's been cool. But in the last 2 months of high school, they think they might be missing out, and they remembered they wrote a Nevers list, and they decided in the last like 2 months or something of high school to do all of the cliches. And their responses to it are quite different. Julia's like, oh, I really didn't want to become a cliche, and Dave kind of finds out there's more to most people than the cliches, and also that those experiences are kind of fun, so they might have been missing out on high school. And Madness ensues. Like, it is quite cheesy, especially like the end bit, like there is a bit of romance drama that I didn't always like, but I did love this book as a whole, and the characters were great, and I loved the Never list and the plot, and it's really great, and just like the message is kind of cliche, that there's no such thing as cliche. Like, cliches are fun and you should try them because you might be missing out. That's a cliche message, but it works, you know. I like it. It's a great book. Next book is Trouble is a Friend of Mine by Stephanie Trumley. This book is the book that I read when I'm going away for a day or two and I need to take one book and I don't know which one to take. This one. I've read it like 4 times, and also just half. I've read it like for half and I'm like, yeah, I know what happens, but I came back from my trip, so I'm not going to finish it now. I'm picking up something else. I just like it a lot. It's about this girl who's kind of your basic introvert, and some guy shows up at her door, he's called Digby, and decides they're going to be friends and like solve mysteries together, and madness ensues again. It's really fun. It's people becoming friends. It's one guy that's really weird. I can't really tell you the plot because it would spoil things. Just pick it up. It's a really fun read. It's really quick. I can read it in like a day. It's really fun and good, and I like it. Yes. Second to last book is The Improbable Theory of Anna and Zack by Brian Katcher. This book is incredible. I say that about every book on this list because I love these books a lot. I've also read this. This is like in the same category as this. Like, I can read that in like a day or two. And like, if I need something to read to get me out of a reading slump, this gets me out of reading slumps. I bought this, I remember, because of the back. So I'm just gonna read that bit. When Anna Watson's brother ditches a high school trip to run wild at the Washington Science Fiction Convention, Type A Anna knows that she must find or risk a last shot of freedom, risk a last shot at freedom from her extra controlling parents. In her desperation, she's forced to enlist the last people she's ever wanted to spend time with, Slacker Zack the cat, to help find her brother before morning comes. Over the course of the night, while being chased by hordes of costumed Vikings and zombies, Anna and Zack begin to open up to each other. Soon we'll begin of the most insane noteworthy manhunt transformed into something much more. It's incredible. I love it. This is such a fun book. Pick it up, please. The last book I have here is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Hilary Sands. And this book, a little less fun and lighthearted than this one, but still a very good book. It's about 2 Mexican-American boys of they're like 14 or 15 when this starts, and they meet and they develop a friendship and maybe something more, but they both deal with a lot of problems, and it's really sad. This is the first book, you guys, that ever made me cry. The first book that ever made me cry gets that title. It's great. I love it. Again, as with quite some of these books, it's like cool because it's a kind of fiction, a kind of world that I don't know that much about. Like, they're Mexican American and it deals with Mexican identity, or if you feel more American and things like that, which I think is very interesting. So this is a cool book. Look how much awards it's won. That says for something, probably more than what I care about it. Look at all these awards that I can't take off because they're not stickers, they're printed on the book. So yeah, that was it for this video. I will see you soon at some point, probably.